Your favorite toy truck nerds are back. Welcome to That Scale RC Show.
Hey everybody, and welcome to That Scale RC Show, episode 94. I am Travis, along with the other hosts, Jay and Adam, and tonight we have special guest Chris Trudeau on. And thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Good night.
Perfect. Man, that was a great show. If only Adam, or if only Travis had remembered to hit record.
Yeah. Anyways, in all seriousness, welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the long pause and getting going again, but we're back, and that's all that matters. So, how's everyone doing?
Doing good.
Oh, pretty good. And yourself?
Yeah, good. Good. Oh, also,
I'm well.
real
Glad to be
quick, Dad, do you have your fan on?
No,
Me?
I don't
okay.
actually.
I was going to say,
I
I
have
forgot.
a heater. I'll turn it off.
It might be all right. I'd say if the fan was on, then I forgot to introduce it as a guest.
Oh.
Is anything
No.
printing? Is anything printing tonight, Jay?
No, actually, there is nothing running. In fact, I just turned off the 3D printer that just finished spitting out a part. So, no, I've got nothing going on out here.
Yeah.
I was even early, too, like 7:28. I was sitting out here at my desk with my headphones on, ready to go.
There's just a lot of noise on the call. That's a lot of it tends to. I've noticed that I always say that, and then when I actually get the show pushed through, even with minimal editing, not a lot of it actually makes it through. So,
Is it better now?
no, but it's
okay.
all right. It's all right.
It didn't make any difference then.
It's unfortunate that everybody has this perception of us that we're really like tuned professionals. That we have to worry about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're not all fancy enough to have recording studios in our houses or basements.
Yeah. And some of us live on the edges of civilization and have their power go out anytime there's a firm breeze going.
Yeah.
And have to use the canoe to get to the store.
I was going to
Dude,
say
seriously.
Jay's got to wrap some more tin foil around those rabbit ears to get the connection to work solid.
Dude, no kidding. It's seriously, it's so bad out here. Like even trying to use your cell phone, like there's only certain parts of the house that you can actually like make a call on and stuff. It's really stupid.
When he gets older, Travis, and that you need to make sure that life alert when he gets it is boosted so that he actually can get a signal out if he falls and can't get up.
That's a great point, actually.
Dude, no kidding.
I didn't even think about that. Oh man,
It's bad though. It really is.
It
Like,
really is.
It's tough out here.
Yeah, these
But
streets.
You're an island boy, Jay.
Oh God.
You got to
No,
play that
not
song
like
now.
that.
You live on an
It's
island. It
so
must be
bad.
awesome.
I read somewhere those dudes are from Florida too. That cracked me up.
They are.
I saw that when you were talking last week about like not having power. The fact that the show wasn't happening because you were without power. For somehow that thing came into head. That's why I said it to you in the message, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's too perfect.
Dude, I can't even text people unless they have an iPhone, because then it'll use like iMessage and use Wi-Fi. But like if people have, an Android or anything like that, I can't send pictures or anything unless I like go outside, walk up 2 streets to the stop sign at the top of our neighborhood at the hill, and like then I can actually send pictures and stuff to an Android phone. But yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oof. Send that Patreon money. Jay needs a bigger antenna.
Oh yeah, and then also I don't know if it's Jay or Travis. Are you guys monitoring our messages on our Facebook page? Because there was a lot of addresses that got sent in today.
Good. Okay. Yeah, no, I had posted a message saying that everybody needs to double check and make sure we have their address so I can get their little care package out. So
I was unaware of either, but ultimately that's because I've been largely neglecting Messenger for the past couple weeks while I've been working.
I'll get it handled because I think I'm planning on, if everything goes good tomorrow, I'm going to go and do pictures and video, and then Friday I'm going to be sitting here making water bottles look pretty and packaging stuff up. So
cool.
Sweet.
That'll
awesome.
be good. Yeah, they're kind of neat. It wasn't as hard to put on as I thought.
Is that the same topography vinyl you have for the trims and stuff that you sell, just blown up?
Yeah, it's just just artwork that I can slap on anything.
Nice, right on.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I was happy with how those turned out. I am a little bit bummed that the water bottles aren't a touch bigger, but this thing actually fits in my new backpack pretty well, so that was kind of cool.
So is that a tribute to Adam? Are those Fool's Gold edition water bottles via Adam?
I think that. Well, I feel I've taken Adam away from the 2 Chainz thing, so I figured we would do something to kind of give a nod back to the days of 2 Chainz.
Pay homage.
There you go.
It's the same fool's gold in my teeth.
Yeah.
Adam does like black and gold, but I don't know, for whatever reason the colors ended up working really well together.
Awesome.
I'm not sure why I chose that necessarily, other than, it is a little bit of Adam influenced, so that we've got some.
Because everybody looks at, well, he doesn't have his beard anymore, but when you had the beard, the first thing I thought of when I looked at that, Jay's all about the bling. I don't see heavy metal hardcore. I see like bling and yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's exactly the image that Jay portrays with when he had his. I'm surprised you got rid of it with winter coming.
Dude, I got trying to take a bite of a sandwich was just way more trouble than it should be.
I've got a beard. In fact, it was funny. I was on FaceTime with my wife today, and she's like, your mustache looks kind of old timey, and so I started twisting the ends, trying to do the old timey handlebar mustache.
I had that for a while.
I remember that picture.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember that stage, that phase that you went through when you did that.
I think I more or less grow facial hair sarcastically. I just do it as just something dumb to do. But no, seriously, it got to be a pain in the ass. All the hair at the corners of your mouth, whenever you're trying to eat something, and it wasn't worth it, and then you would blow your nose, and that's a whole other level of grossness. And I was just done with it.
Because don't you know, with a beard, you need to tuck it in the top of your shirt when you're eating, get that out of the way.
Get one of those little beard bag things that you strap on that keeps it all nice in its little pouch.
Yeah.
Use a hairnet.
A beard bra.
I'm curious to know from Travis, working with Colin, is he trying to go full ZZ Top and catch Tim with his?
Oh, probably.
Father time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that picture was
look
funny.
like wizards.
You guys are friends with OKO, right?
Yeah.
Or you guys know OKO?
Yeah.
Because I had commented that picture of the three of them. I was hoping that OKO would have brought his beard with him, because that would have even made the picture better.
Right.
That's awesome.
So other than struggling for power, what's everyone been up to?
Oh boy. A lot of working. I think that's where we've all kind of been. It's just been various points of just working.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been about it, unfortunately. Which is good, stuff's getting done. And stuff is trying to get
built a lot of cool stuff too.
Yeah, you've been building
You
a
know,
lot of
like-
cool stuff. Yeah.
Trying
you
to-
have been on a build tear lately, Jay.
Yeah.
Well, for any time that we're doing something new, like product wise and stuff, I'm trying to like do something at least to showcase it, so it's not like just a bench picture, you know, like even like, well, okay, for example, like part of the reason the Halo Forerunner exists is because with losing that one piece of equipment and focusing more on our other thermal printer, I want to revamp our window and badge decal kit for the Forerunner and make it like the Night Runner, where it's got like, you know, tinted headlight decals and tinted taillights and stuff like that, like a little more like, I don't know, just more items to it, you know, when you buy it. And so that's
Like
the reason
scale
for the
heating
Forerunner.
elements in the windows themselves too.
Well,
Does it
it's
have
got-
a little heating?
Yeah, it has all of that and everything, but like if you buy our kit for the Night Runner, it's got like taillight lenses with transparent red sections and stuff in them. And so I'm going to do that for the Forerunner. And so this is kind of, that was part of the reason for this, is building something to kind of showcase those. And it's good timing too, because you got Halo being released on the 8th and everything. And so it'll just be a good time to show an updated product, you know, and so people can see, you know, we're right now, like with the store and everything, there's not a whole lot to choose from necessarily compared to like in the past and stuff. And so the timing is such where we'll be able to kind of like very shortly show everybody kind of the new direction that we're going and stuff, and what we're going to be doing with different products and everything. And so anytime we have like weird, you know, like landmark moments or, you know, something that's changing here, I want to try and like do something to kind of capture people's attention to
Or a
sell
printer
whatever
dying that
point it
forces
is.
your hand.
Which
Yeah,
is the exact reason why he shaved his beard.
Fresh start.
Yeah.
I was just done with it.
Getting ready, new year, new you. Is that is it the preamble to
Yeah.
Right.
Sweet.
So we've had a lot of new stuff coming out in the scale world. We've got some bodies. We've got 24th scale, lots of 24th scale wheels and tires. We've got RC 4-wheel drive with a 24th scale Trailfinder 2. Which, is that a Lexian body? I didn't look. That's actually
I didn't
something I was
look.
kind of curious about.
Which one?
The TF2, the 24th scale one, is that a
It's a hard
Lexian body or?
Oh, yeah,
Really?
the new Toyota. I think it's a hard body.
Oh, that would be really cool.
I'm pretty sure it's a hard body.
Rock crawlers, kits, mini and micro. Here we go.
Hard body.
That's what I thought.
Dude, that's pretty rad.
But I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's RC4 drive, you know, that's their thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the only, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only Lexian body they ever had was that 3rd gen Forerunner.
They had
Was it
a
3rd gen or was it 2nd gen?
uh,
It's like the mid 90s. It was like the 90s
First-
body
yeah.
style.
I think that was
they
the
made
first gen.
Yeah, that 90s one. Because
Yeah,
I
they have
have,
an-
I think that's the one I think I have that one. It was a copy of the, so that body was a loose copy of the like OG Kyosho. Like before scale trucks were scale trucks, Kyosho had a RAV4 two-door, a Kyosho Pathfinder, which I have, Toyota 4Runner, and I think there was one other one. But they were 1/9 scale with an independent front suspension, like double wishbone suspension on them. They're super scale. I'll post a picture after the show is up of the two. I have the Pathfinder in its complete. My brother-in-law has a 4Runner, and I have a picture of both of our trucks sitting like side by side, but those came out in like the early 90s. And the body that RC four-wheel drive used for their 4Runner was loosely based on the 4Runner. It was the Hilux Surf like 2-door 90s 4Runner, and it looked way better than the Proline one. Sorry, Proline. Hard plastic bumpers. It was really nice. But yeah, they called it. What did they call it? They called it. It wasn't the 4Runner. I can't remember now. I know they made a horrible looking Pathfinder body. But yeah, they did make the Lexan. It was short lived, but they did have a Lexan 4Runner.
Oh, RC four-wheel drive actually has a chassis kit too. Rolling chassis that's 24th scale. It's all aluminum. Wow, that is a very expensive little car. $219 for the rolling chassis kit for 124th. That's really interesting. It doesn't have upper links. It's just using the shocks to kind of stabilize everything. Boy, that's odd. It's a weird little truck.
Let's see. And then we can't not talk about the Sen F450 in red and white.
Those look pretty cool.
Okay, I just gotta interject a little bit on that. So there's a guy. What is it? I'm gonna have to look it up now. I want to say it's like Smiggins Folly or whatever the heck that guy is. That's got the he's on Instagram. I gotta pull it up.
Isn't that Turks and Jerps?
Yeah,
Maybe
Turks
that's
and Jerps has Smiggins Folly. Yeah, he's building that like sort of forest ranger Dodge thing. I think that's a hard body, and that looks really good.
Okay, no, it's not him. There's somebody else.
Are you talking about Harley? Because Harley built that. Are you talking about the squatted one?
No, I'm talking about the Chevy Cat Eye.
Oh,
Weber's Gulch.
Weber's Gulch. Yeah, that's the guy that we gave the 4Runner to.
Weber's Gulch. So he got a Sen, and then I know exactly what file he got for the 3D printed body because the guy also makes that same flatbed, so it's got to come from the same guy. He printed it all out. The thing is sick. It looks just like, I don't know. I fell in love. I was like, if I was going to do a tow rig, that would be my tow rig.
It looks really, really good. Like it's worthy of posting on the page. Good.
Yeah, I'll share it to the page when we're done talking because it's badass. And my love for Chevys, it got me thinking. I was like, ooh, maybe I need to do something along these lines.
I would love to do a really long wheelbase build, like try and do like a Sen body with, like element chassis and stuff and just, stretch it out and do something really, really custom.
My brother-in-law currently has two. He has both the gray and the blue. They are massive, and he wants the red one next. So we'll see.
Is he just collecting them? Like what's his goal there?
He just
wants all of them.
He just likes them. Yeah, it's just his thing. He's got cerebral palsy, and he's like a car person and in a wheelchair.
That's cool.
So it's been his thing.
Passion.
That's how I actually met him. He came in and was a customer at my store, and we got to be friends, and then I married his sister. So
crazy. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, he's got quite a bit of a collection, and but he really likes them. He in fact, another friend of mine messaged me and sent me a picture of one that somebody had a custom. They built which is what, again, going back to Adam's thing. It's ideal tow pig, but they built a custom like pintle mount for the fifth wheel with a trailer on it. And I think my friend said that the guy that he was going to get it, he never ended up getting it, but the guy that he had the trailer built was like somewhere around 500 plus to have a fifth wheel trailer built for it. But it's like triple axle, and it's running like dual tires all the way around. Like it was pretty intense setup.
Wow.
And my brother-in-law was just salivating because he wants it just for that purpose. He wants the trailer, and he wants to make it as a tow rig. He already has one of those big dog trailers, the little double axle one that RC 4-wheel drive offers and Into G offers and all that. So he tows his stuff around on the back of it, but I think he wants to tow more than one. So the fifth wheel, because of the truck and the fact that it's a dually, I think is more appealing. But I mean, they're pretty cool. They are long as hell. I mean, they take a mile to turn.
Well, they're coming out with some pretty neat little like upgrade stuff too, like different wheels, and like for guys that are into it, you know, they have like the spiked wheel lugs and stuff. I mean, they actually have a lot of pretty neat stuff for those, really.
Yeah, he bought the locker. They make lockers for it. He's got the lockers front and rear in both of his trucks, and
Wow.
they have like different. You can like flip the transmission gears around to give you like a low speed or a high speed one. So each of his trucks, one's configured for high speed, one's configured for normal, and so
Crazy.
yeah, I mean I would be curious to get one out on the trail. The suspension is super stiff, so that's the only thing that I would probably change or modify to try and take it out on the trail is putting some way softer springs on it to see how it would do on the rocks. But unfortunately, where we go crawling, there's a lot of, you know, semi-steep stuff to go up, and I'm sure it would just high center on everything because it's so long. But I mean, I don't know. You know, the new trend is everything's long, so the Gladiators and the
well, it's scaled. I mean, this is what guys like us have been asking for all this time.
Yeah.
You know, really for that truck, 419 is not bad, considering.
No, it's a pretty good deal for what you get.
That, I mean, plus there's just a lot there. Like that's a lot of vehicle that you're getting. A lot of tires, many tires.
A lot of tires.
Which I don't even know if I would change those out if I was to get something like that. Like the stock tires actually look pretty good. The wheels are a little bro looking, but I get it. Like that's what sells. So
that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, definitely a bro truck.
I mean, there's people making lift kits for them. You know, there are some people out there
really
like the whole like brodozer, the brodozer stuff. Which, you know, I guess to counter that, I mean, you know, not to totally trend, but still in like new releases. I mean, Red Cat did release that new body, but they do Monte Carlo, new hydraulic.
Yeah.
Lowrider is a Monte Carlo now, so you know, I mean, you know, there you go. You can have your brodozer truck and your mini lowrider hopper, and you know, you'd be set.
Well, it's just cool to see that Scale RC is like so many different things now instead of just crawlers, you know, which is a perfect segue to our next thing, which is trying to fit drifting and rally into the world of Scale RC. And what I really want to see, and I don't know, I've gotten like a different opinion from all kinds of people, but what would be really cool in my mind is a 1/10 scale rally with interior cage, mud flaps, like molded plastic grill, like, you know, just what they're doing with crawlers, but do a rally car would be just awesome. So hopefully someday that's something that we'll see. But in the meantime, we have to make them on our own, which you have more experience with all that than any of us do, because we are not drifters.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's companies like Pandora that offer like full fender kits that you can get, where it's like, you know, you basically delete the whole body and you can build like fenderless. I think they sell it for like the Nissan 240 or S13, where it's like, the inner like if you took the fender skin off and it was the underside, you can get like just the fenders, and like they make Lexan, engine bays for
Oh, wow.
all the different engines that you want. So whether it's a 2JZ or a Corolla motor like my Corolla that's sitting outside, or if you're a Nissan SR20 fan, all that stuff. They make all kinds of Lexan faux motors that sit like under the hood. They've got the rear bumpers too. So if you want to take your rear bumper off and make it a total missile where it's missing all the body panels, they have like the underskin. I'm not that handy painting, so I will not be doing any kind of detail work to that extent.
Dude, that's wild though.
But yeah, and then the interiors are relatively simple. I mean, some people do sell like dash kits, because everything's like shifted now, and it's not, everything's in the trend now is everything is rear-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive like it used to be. So there's more room now in the chassis with everything kind of behind the doors, as it were, that you can kind of run interiors. I have a couple friends that have some faux, like they make like scale Corbeau race seats, and using kind of the Wild Willys figure is real popular with the big helmet.
Yeah.
If you look at so they use like that as like the base, and so that'll be the little figurehead driving. I think racing makes a moving steering wheel. There's a bunch of people that make different like dash parts, which actually, to rewind under the going back to like new stuff, did you see, is it the scale built dash with a little moving tack?
I saw that today. Yeah.
Somebody posted that on Instagram, and that got a little excited about that, because I'm building something and working on a dash, and I was like, oh, that would be really neat.
Yeah,
a little more work
those
than I want
are pretty awesome. The one I saw today had a digital speedo, and then it also had like the needle as well, and they both kind of moved, sequentially. It was just, that guy's stuff's next level.
Yeah. I know somebody who bought one of those Kizio, I don't know how you say it, Kizio trucks, whatever, with the full like digital something, and it's like a $2,000 crawler. It's ridiculous, but it's got a light up dash, and then like I think you can get it like navigation or satnav. Maybe it's the scale built guys, but I don't know. They've got like the scale nav like system, and
that's so
all
rad.
that kind of stuff. It's just, I mean, we thought people who did like, I have friends that do some amazing stuff with styrene. Like, like you said, it's completely like next level when you're talking about digital gauges, and it was one thing to just have like headlights and taillights, let alone putting lights in a dashboard or
exactly,
working gauges and stuff. But I mean, people are doing interiors in drift cars. There's several videos of people with cameras inside the car, and it's from the driver perspective. Not quite. I mean, it gives you the FPV perspective, but it's not. I think there are people that are driving drift like FPV, but most of it is just like indoor, using like GoPros and stuff mounted on, whatever figures or something inside.
Which is still cool for getting video and stuff. I think that's neat looking.
Yeah, for sure. But going back to the interior thing, Jay, you're a little bit late. The HPI RS4 Rally it came with a molded interior set.
Really? God, how did I ever, I just got into this hobby too late.
There's still a lot of cool stuff, but yeah, I just if you just put in HPI HPI RS4 rally into like Google Images, you'll see there's a couple that pop up, and it just shows a little. I mean, it's cheesy. It's kind of like what the Axial thing is. It's a molded interior with like a plastic helmet head.
Yeah, that's how my Tamiya one is that I got for the Escort that I'm building.
Yeah. But it's, yeah, I'm like full disclosure. The opinions and the opinions stated do not necessarily reflect the sponsors or the members of that Scale RC show. I am not a fan of the like Traxxas rally or the associated stuff. I'm a traditional like 10th scale sedan, you know, Tamiya chassis, HPI,
Yep.
Yokomo. That's like, to me, that's what rally should be. I'm not even a fan of like the 16th scale Traxxas like rally stuff. You know,
It's all the touring car based is what you're after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's that, and the other nice thing is they look relatively scale next to crawlers, so that part's kind of cool too. They make for good scale garage accessories.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I wish you know, whoever's listening, Rich Trujillo at Horizon, if you're listening, or you know, Randall Axial, if you're listening and you want to branch out, bring back 10th scale rally cars.
Yeah, I think that would be rad.
It needs a resurgence. Bring back 10th scale rally car bodies. Let's HPI, if you're listening, bring back your.
I feel
bodies.
like it would do good because it's just scale anything, as we're seeing with like that 7450 and then the 350. I mean, and then the you know, like all the drift cars and stuff with how scale guys are getting with those. Like, you would think that we're hopefully like right at the point where something like that is actually like, you know, somewhat reasonable for somebody to produce, you know, at this point. Like, I feel like it's probably not too far away.
Well, and there still are. I mean, I was doing some checking, and I follow some, you know, rally pages, and I can, you know, kind of waxing poeting, whatever the term is, you know, talk about the heydays of it. But I mean, when the HPIs and stuff came out, like at the late 90s, like, I mean, we had, where I lived in you know, in Oregon and raced in Vancouver, I mean, we had a healthy rally class, like to the extent that I think the most rally cars we had show up on a night of racing were, I think we legit had like 3 heats of like 8 or 9 cars per heat. I mean, I think we had like 20 something cars show up.
God, that'd be rad. To
run rally. And like it's transitioned a lot now in comparison to what we did. You know, I mean, if anyone wants to, I mean, you can, you know, if you want to get on a total like time suck, just put in like RC Rally Europe and watch some of the videos. But and I guess it just depends on what people know to be like rally, and then sort of like the modern take on it. Because there's like the rally cross stuff, which is popular now. That's like the Nitro Circus, the Ken Block, the Tanner, where there's like 4 cars on a course, like all at once, and they're all racing around a track, which is basically what we were doing back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when the HPIs and the Yokomos and the Losis, you know, when those cars all came out. That's basically what we ran. We ran on the same off-road RC clay track that, you know, the 2-wheel drive buggies, the 4-wheel drive buggies, the stadium trucks all ran on. So we were running on the same tracks, and, you know, everyone was doing it all at once. I was fortunate that the person that kind of organized our group happened to participate in, you know, actual like 1-1 rallycross. So a lot of the rules, a lot of the same kinds of the sort of the point structure and everything was all applied. So, basically we ran kind of a series race, and you got points for finishing like 1 through 10 regardless. So, Travis will tell you from like regular racing experience, if you break a car, normally a car, gets pulled and set aside, and, the driver picks it up after a race. It didn't matter if you were on 2 wheels, you still got points for finishing the race. So we literally would drive around the tracks dragging wheels just so that they could earn, points towards that series.
You know what I would like to see, which would be really, really cool, is it would suck for cleanup and everything, but doing a 1/10 scale rallycross on like a on-road track and have like actual like tarmac and dirt sections and a joker lap and stuff, and you're up on a driver's stand driving just like you do, traditional RC racing. That would be so much fun, even if it was just like a standalone event or something. But
again, late to the party, Jay. If only you were into this back in the late 90s, early 2000s. The HPI Challenge Series did that. I competed in a couple. I flew down to California for a race, and then I did one. They had one at Tacoma. They had a stop in Tacoma, and yeah, we set up in a parking lot, and then there were they made like plywood jumps with like an aluminum strip at the base, so you weren't just like, because the rally cars like yours, they're elevated. They've got a taller stance than a regular sedan. But we were just running on like, it's not like carpet tracks where the jumps are sort of like, grooved in a way that the jumps are, because you're running on carpet tracks, you're running on flat surfaces, and then you have jumps.
Right.
Like everyone jokes about carpet racing is more or less, touring cars with jumps. But the jumps were so aggressive though that you had to have some kind of a lead up to it. But they would, for the rally class, they would move the wooden ramps around the course in different spots. And then they had, at least the couple that I went to, they had like a sheet of aluminum that they would put usually at like a corner, and or maybe it wasn't aluminum, it was some kind of a like plastic, but basically you'd hit it and it was supposed to replicate ice.
Oh, okay.
So you'd come into a corner and hit it, and if you were driving, because we were all running, because you had to run the rally tires in the cars, and you'd come into that corner and you'd just totally like slide around the corner. But yeah, that was that. The HPI Challenge Series went on for a couple years, and those things were a kick in the pants because they were all over, and mostly the electric ones. Although HPI did have like the Super Nitro Rally, which was the larger, like 8th scale-ish car. Which like now looking back at, HPI is still around, but like looking back at some of those cars, especially now like the Super, I think that's kind of along the same lines as like that new Vendetta car that came out, or the Arma Vendetta.
Oh, okay.
Like that like scale, that class now with like brushless systems would be awesome.
Yeah, that would.
But again, HPI was kind of ahead of their time. But
yeah.
But yeah, so they used to run a parking lot race where you could do that. But I totally agree. I've talked to Kevin at our carpet track about trying to run a get some rally cars in, and my buddy Kyle, who probably listened to this later, who used to race with me back in the day, he's all about bringing back rally, and I've got a couple buddies that do it. My buddy Brendan just bought a house and some property, and I messaged him and like, we're building a rally course, right? So we might get some outdoor rally action happening this next summer. But the Europeans have been doing it for forever. If you go on, like I was mentioning earlier, YouTube, Time Suck, those guys like now we'll say many of them are in much better shape than I am. And I don't necessarily know that I would want to run around chasing my rally car. But those guys do they do real stage rally type courses where like literally they run behind the car for like
That looks so
5
fun.
minutes. Yeah.
Well, that's how our rock bouncer races are at the place in Oakville here. It's like the stage rally where you basically like either run behind or beside your bouncer, because it's not just hill climbs. There's like other terrain too, which you see in real life. They're kind of incorporating some of that stuff in now too. It's not just a hill climb. You've got like some double jumps and stuff like that and some corners and everything. And that's how the places that I went and raced at. And yeah, same type of thing. Like you just run behind it and go as fast as you can. And dude, it was a kick in the ass. Like I would absolutely, I mean, I'm, out of shape and everything else. And I would absolutely do, like the European style stage rally. I mean, that it just looks fun. Like I would, I'd risk getting sore and tired and everything else the next day for something like that.
Sure.
It looks like a good time.
Yeah, and then like their rally, and then they basically do like a rally cross too, where it's they do it like at an off-road track, and they drive around and do the actual like rally courses, and or they do like the off-road track and do the jumps and everything else and all that. So yeah, so that's pretty. It's definitely one of those, like they've been doing a lot of it with the a lot of those guys all run like Tamiya cars, the XVO ones, and the you have a TT. Here's the TT02, right? That Escort.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my store sold out of that one. I can't get that one now. Kind of sad.
I love that body. That thing's so neat looking.
Yeah. I somewhere in my collection, I think I have a new in package HPI Subaru 22B, the fat fendered Subaru.
Rad.
So I painted it, but that might find its way onto a shell. But yeah, we had back in the day we had a huge shout out to my buddy Rob. He's on the Operation 11C page. But back in the days of HPI forum, we had quite a healthy discussion with HPI rally cars, and just that whole segment was just huge. It's cool that there's still people out there doing it. I know that I follow a SoCal rally page. I think there's even one in NorCal. I've seen one that's in Texas. So, there are still groups doing it. And you can run them. I mean, they're. I mean, it wouldn't even take much to go find some space in a park and just kind of, grab a rake and kind of rake some stuff aside and, make your own. But, yeah, I think I really like the 10 scale rally stuff, especially if you watch the real stuff, because the real stuff is pretty exciting to watch too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I would like to see more. And there are some companies doing it. I mean, Tamiya is always kind of produced. In fact, when I was doing some homework for this show, their first, I guess, rally car came out in July of '83.
Jeez.
It was an Audi Quattro. Yeah. Probably their most famous one, which is that Porsche 955 with the Rothsman livery. I know Travis is going to know that one, probably. It's the blue and white Porsche.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty badass. That one didn't come out until 1986. But that's kind of when, or is it 86? Yeah, 1986. So that's kind of when those started getting popular. But it wasn't. I don't think it was really until like the late 90s when HPI came out with one, and then like coincidentally, the Yokomo came out with one, and Losi came out with their rally car. That things kind of took off, but there's a couple companies. The RC Rally Legends make some really cool. You check out theirs; they have a lot of like old school throwback rally bodies. Like they've got a bunch of like stuff that's not necessarily stuff you'd see here in the U.S.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was fortunate enough to hang out with a bunch of rally people back in the day, and so they. So we would watch a bunch of Group 5, Group N, all that stuff was pretty intense watching some of those cars back in the day.
I can't imagine having RC cars back in 1986. Like that wasn't even on my radar. Like my only RC experience at 10 years old was, like Radio Shack cars. I would have lost my mind if I would have seen like Tamiyas and stuff like that back then.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't get in. I mean, I was bench racing with my friend Richard when we were in like, I think junior high, or just before junior high, 7th, 8th grade maybe, and like that was right around the Gold Pan RC10 and like the Blackfoot and all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, Tamiya has been around a long time. Like a long time.
Yeah, like they're kind of right there with Kyosho, aren't they? As like two of the longest standing brands in RC.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Kyosho had some. Kyosho had some Nitro ones back in the day. They had they came out with ones called they had the Landmax series, which they were kind of I think they were similar in size to like the HPI Super. They were kind of like an 8 scale-ish Nitro rally car. Or I think
Jeez.
They had Nitro, but Kyosho used to have an Escort, like the one that you've got on your.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and that was the thing. I mean, that was but all those companies back then. I mean, the scale realism of that stuff, which is what we're talking about, is scale. Is I mean that they were pretty spot on with that stuff. And I'm sure licenses then weren't nearly as difficult as they are now.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely a process trying to jump through all the hoops for that.
Yeah.
I get why some of the brands like Associated aren't big on doing it, with bodies and stuff, because just trying to get in touch with people's hard enough, and then trying to explain to them what it is that your business actually does is even tougher. So, yeah, that's...
Well, and I just wonder too, with all of I mean, you can't necessarily stop like the knockoff stuff from happening, but to sort of mimic some of the video game stuff, like you play Grand Theft Auto or some of those games. It's like you're looking at the car online or in the game, and it's like, wow, that looks like an Audi R8. It's like, but they don't necessarily call it an R8, or that looks like a Dodge pickup, and it's it's not named that, but
right, yeah.
Anyone who's any wiser would know that it's a it's a Dodge pickup or a Chevy Trailblazer and that stuff.
We did see a Night Runner with a Ford oval badge on the grill the other day, so that was interesting.
Was it the one sitting on top of a Ford truck by chance?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. Okay. I just saw the grill and I took a screenshot of it and sent it to Trav. I was like, this kind of cracked me up.
That's pretty funny.
Dude wanted a Ford, man.
I guess. I mean, I guess as long as you don't use that name in it, or at least make it visible and hide it under a sticker or something.
That's actually pretty smart, but probably a bit of a legal gray area.
Well, that's kind of what I wonder. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty the Europeans that are doing it, I mean, it's pretty intense. And even the SoCal guys, I mean, they have a pretty good, group and following with that. And I mean, going back to even like the RC 4-wheel drive, I mean, they make it, I mean, kind of in the same realm. I mean, Dakar trucks. I mean, you guys had Ty on, you guys had Ty on, what, 2 weeks ago or whatever. I mean, that Dakar truck that he built, I'm going to build one. I'm going to figure out a way to make something along that same line, whether I have to cheat and use the RC or the Axial Unimog, whatever truck. I think, Jay, I've sent you pictures of like the Overland truck that I wanted to.
Oh, yep.
I want to essentially build, but, I mean, I think it's still on there. Can I put it in Dakar? Do they still offer their Dakar?
That red one, is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, I don't remember. I saw one of those the other day, and it was something ridiculous, like $1,400.
Yeah, they were crazy. I have a buddy who bought one. I don't think he's ever driven it, but he said that thing came like on a small pallet. It was just like the Tamiya semi trucks are heavy. Like that one was heavy. Like you talk about like, and I'm sure Ty's is pretty heavy with all his like 3D printed. That Dakar truck from RC 4-wheel drive, that thing was all aluminum, like aluminum panels.
Jeez, I didn't realize that. Wow.
I don't think they must have discontinued because I'm not seeing it.
I need to get internalized Dakar bodies finished. They're just sitting at the moment.
Elliot's been pretty quiet online. What is the intern doing these days?
He's got a job, but he wouldn't tell me what he's doing.
Not RC related.
Oh, okay. Not working for not doing your minion work.
No. There's unfortunately not a whole lot I can utilize him for these days.
What is he doing for a job? Do you know?
I was going to say, if he's not telling you, it's got to be some like high level government work.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's for him to say. It's nothing crazy. Like he's just, going somewhere after school, doing his thing, as much as the law allows him to work, and that's it. And I think
jobs are plenty now, so
yeah.
You kids out there looking for RC money.
Yeah.
But your first job was Best Buy, right, Trav?
Yeah.
Adam, what was your first job?
My first job, technically was when I worked at Pacific Sunwear, Pac Sun. I don't know if that store. Well, I know it still exists down here. I don't know if it exists anywhere else.
We still got it.
Yeah, no, I worked there. Because technically working for my parents was my first job, but my first real job where I actually collected a paycheck and all that stuff. Instead of getting paid like, cash, and all that stuff when you're, 14, 15 years old, was Pac Sun. But, yep.
Yeah.
What was your first job, Chris?
I bagged groceries. I worked for a local grocery store. I worked for a Thriftway, and then after that job, I worked at a Safeway and was like bagging groceries and carrying out grocery bags for little old ladies.
I worked at a golf shop, and which on the surface sounds really cool, but it was called Missing Link. And so their whole shtick was, their whole shtick was, the missing link, as far as like anthropology goes. And I had to stand out on Highway 97 at the time because there wasn't a bypass in a gorilla suit with a kilt, gorilla suit with a kilt, and then one of those little hats, a beret, I guess, isn't that what they call them? Like little golfer hat. In the middle of winter, in the snow, getting splashed by dickheads that are like swerving over into the gutter, into the slush to like totally douche me with snow and mud and everything. So I'm like in junior high, so probably, I don't know, 12 years old or something. And I'm sitting there like in tears trying to act happy and dance around with this little putter and stuff while people are just clowning me. And to make it even worse, I was working one day. Yeah, no, it gets worse. I had a buddy who outed me in junior high to everybody else because he recognized my Nike Bo Jackson cross trainer shoes, and so he told everybody what I did, and it was humiliating.
It was funny because I was just gonna say the only saving grace is that no one knew that it was you under
Dude, how he knew it was me by the shoes, just, I mean, some good detective work, but I mean, just, damn.
How slow were they driving to tell you what? I mean, I can't.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll whip my head because I think I see I'll see a car. I was like, oh, look at that. I mean, we've all done it. We've all done that. We've all done that move. But yeah, to be able to pick out a classmate by his shoes driving by on the road, that's impressive.
Yeah. It sucked. It sucked really bad. That was a miserable job. Like, you think it'd be fun, but it really wasn't.
No, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No.
I've seen,
most people be like, oh, who cares? But the snow sucked.
Fast forward to present day, it would either be the guy. So fast forward today, so you would either be trying to direct people to your mattress store, pizza, or weed.
Yeah. I feel like sign wielding skills have really come alive in recent years. Because I feel like they're getting more complicated.
Because I was going to say, Jay, that was probably I'm going to date myself. Jay will know what I'm talking about. Was that pre-Walkman? Did you at least have a Walkman in there? Or did you have to sing to yourself to try and entertain me?
No Walkman or anything. I was just, standing there waving at cars, and
at least now they've got headphones or some sort of AirPod-ish whatever in their ears, and they're at least jiving to music.
Yeah, they're getting down.
Yeah. I was not so fortunate.
Right.
Just hearing the sound of slush being thrown through tires and oh, that's awful.
Dude, they would fully swerve and right into the gutter and just and then you're cold on top of it. I mean, not only is the whole act of it humiliating, but you're freezing to death out there.
See, I would have thought the opposite. Yeah. I would have thought you would have been sweating balls in that.
Oh, that would have been
not Central Oregon. This was
this was down here.
Yeah, it was in Bend.
Oh.
So it gets cold in Bend.
What about the gorilla suit though? Did that not insulate?
No, it was you've probably never seen it, but there's cloth for Halloween masks and stuff that they have hair kind of woven into, and it's almost kind of a mesh material, it's really breathable. So you had to dress super warm underneath it.
I see.
Oh, so it wasn't full on mascot looking outfit?
No, it was pretty close. I mean, it had the rubber face and stuff, and
okay,
it was a legit looking gorilla costume, but
So when y'all are hearing this in the discussion afterwards, you can all post your first job or I think Jay kind of takes the cake with worst first job, but I'm curious to see what the others out there.
Dude, I could go on and on. I've had I've had so much weird stuff happen to me. I could just tell stories like that forever, but yeah, it wasn't fun. So hopefully, intern, whatever you're doing, it could always be worse. Remember that.
What I can tell you is intern is realizing that if he goes and he works a job and he's out of RC, that he gets to make money, which is pretty awesome. That's quite the revelation for RC kids.
That's not true. Even if you have a job, you're not. I mean, unfortunately, I just keep spending money on my RC stuff.
Well, that's the trick. Yeah, that's the trick. Suddenly you start making money, and all of a sudden, I'm not going to put as much effort into this RC thing. There's a couple of years of that, and then you may circle back around. I know that was my experience.
No, I can agree with that. I've actually spent a lot of time pushing the career forward this year than RC.
Yeah, same.
I think all of us have really, like, work is just taken over priority.
Yeah,
but the
but you
RC
work
industry has
on
been, it's been good though.
Your full-time gig is RC though, so there's a little bit
Jay,
of
you
an
can't
asterisk.
get away from it, really. I'm
Just
sure
trying to
there's
get-
plenty of us that are sort of envious.
I still come home and work for you every day. So
We're just trying to get it while the getting's good.
yeah.
Well, it is neat to see the, you know, all the stuff and the, you know, the improvements, the just the direction in terms of where everything's going. I think everything's moving in a you know, a positive, you know, in a positive direction. I mean, there's all kinds of advancements being made when you look at, you know, like the new Vanquish transmission that they, you know,
Yeah,
Oh my God,
yeah, we hadn't
yeah,
even talked
that thing
about
is-
that.
Oh, you missed it, Trav, because we had talked about it with Ty.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
You were gone for that
thing
one.
was so sick.
that's a really nice
We
truck.
talked a little bit about this on the Operation 11 Charlie show too, of just like how much everything has come along and at the rate that it has too. You know,
It's a good time to be in RC. Like, this is a good point in history because there's just so much cool stuff coming out.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the envelope's definitely being pushed, but then I mean, you know, I think I think people were pretty impressed with like you know, with Vanquish's VFD or with Traxxas and their shiftable, you know, lockers and stuff like that. Like, that was pretty revolutionary for their time. But
Yeah.
you know, it's like, how much more, you know, we talked a bit about that scale built, the digital dash and all that stuff, and you know, you've got the, you know, actuating drivers and, you know, putting servos and putting mini servos in heads and getting heads to turn in conjunction with like the steering wheel. You know, with like the drifting stuff, they've got, you know, sparking tires and
They do?
you know, like, yeah.
That's crazy.
They've got like I think it's I know it's attack. What's the lighting? Why is their name escaping me right now? What's the RC light?
My Trick RC?
My Trick RC. They make a backfire kit for like exhaust. So like, as your, you know, drift car is sliding around, when you let off the gas, it has because it's plugged into your receiver. It senses like when it's off power, and so it'll like flash like an orange LED inside if you've got a scale muffler.
Wow.
It'll like flash like it's backfiring. Like, if you watch, you know, real drifting, you'll see them backfire and all that stuff.
That is too cool.
So it's pretty amazing to see what's out there. I'm kind of, you know, did you guys even talk about the 4-wheel steer Capra yet?
No,
At the
we
circle
haven't
back,
talked
but
about that yet either.
No.
That dropped because I think that dropped the week you guys were off, right? So
Yeah.
you know, it's a crazy time in RC.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We could talk about that. I well, I don't know how long that was been on the thing, but clearly they saw your element-based moon buggy, Jay, and were like, we need to take this guy down. Adam made a phone call to Randall. He's like, hey, Jay's got this thing.
You're not going to believe this.
You're not going to believe what Jay made.
Well, actually, if anybody followed what I did, that's my very first mod I ever did to my Capra when I was building it.
Yep.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you
I
and I
didn't-
were building ours about the same time, right?
Yeah, and when I built
I
mine,
realized that yours was 4-wheel steer, Adam.
yeah, it's 4-wheel steer. I literally I bought the kit, and when I was assembling the kit, I ordered another front axle housing
Nice.
and factory Capra link kit just so all the links, that's how OCD I was, just so all the links would look factory. And yeah, then I bought all the parts, put in a rear axle or front axle in the rear and in the front, and then yeah.
Did
The
you
only thing
stretch
is-
your Did you have clearance issues in the back? Because I know like the new one,
Yeah,
they like change the cage and
yeah,
the
they
back
they
and
changed the cage. So I mean, if you want to be a real stickler, mine does hit the cage, but I don't care.
That's
I
kind of
use the
good though,
shallow.
because like with the
Yeah,
weight shifting back, it doesn't hurt to have the rear suspension limited.
no, it doesn't at all. It doesn't really. I mean, like I've looked at it, like try to figure out ways to clearance it. I mean, there's people that have done this mod before, and they've like cut out parts of the cross member, or they put in like a bar and then cut everything out. I mean, if you want it to be all hacked up, you can go that route. I just left it. I didn't really care. And also, I'm running the Shorty MKS HBL 550 XL, which is the skinny stubby servo. So you don't have like a big full servo smacking everything.
I wanted rear steer. I just didn't hang on to mine long enough to do it.
Did you get rid of yours? Did you get rid of the one you built?
Yeah, a couple, I don't know, a year or two ago. I forget how long it's been out now, but no, I got rid of it. And then that's when I decided to do the moon buggy build, the element based one.
Oh, okay. That's what I was. Oh, sorry. I was thinking you got rid of that, but I was like, I didn't think you were.
Oh yeah, no, I'll probably
You were
never
talking
sell
about
that.
your okay, you got rid of your Capra.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no, I'll probably.
I was like, I know you're not crazy.
I'll probably be buried with that moon buggy. I love that thing so much.
It is pretty cool.
It's one of my favorites.
But yeah, so, and honestly, it's funny because I think the reason why a lot of people don't realize that mine's 4-wheel steer is the fact that I built it, and I wasn't. What was I? There's something I wasn't happy with. I think it was the gearing or something. There's something I just wasn't happy with the way it drove, so I kind of just sat. Oh, that's also what it was. It was the tires. The original tire setup that I picked, they were just too small for what it was, and it just sucked. And I wasn't happy. It didn't really hook up. Then I switched over to the crawlers.
Oh,
the crawlers.
Everyone says Hyrax. That's their like go-to. So I just.
Nah, I know.
Just like the Hyrax.
I've never been a fan of the Hyrax strictly because they don't look scale. That's my only.
Amen.
That's my only gripe about that. No, I actually went with the axial crawlers because I don't know. I was trying to keep it just like 100% as axial as possible. It was just like a weird goal of mine, so I just went with the axial crawlers, and they work really well. I drove that thing at Crawl for a Cure, the farewell crawl, and that thing was killing lines left, right, and center. I couldn't have been happier. That rig really performs well, and the only thing I got to say is with the dig, you really don't use it a lot once you go 4-wheel steer. There's really not a lot of times you need it. It's kind of like a show off thing at that point. But I mean, even people at that event, they couldn't believe it. Like I'd be on the rocks and they were like, whoa, is that 4-wheel steer? And you're like, yep. And then they'd ask, did it come like that? And I was like, nope. But now you can go, yeah, you can. I had no clue though. That I had like nobody told me that was coming out. That was actually the event I found out about the SCX6, but which got released a week or two later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's overall it's a fun rig.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, I enjoyed mine, but I do like the moon buggy, I think, a little bit better. But the axial crawlers, those are actually a really good tire. Those are almost as good as the Proline ones. Like I think they're both right there with each other.
I have both. I have the Proline crawlers on. What are those on right now? I think those are on the yellow Blazer, if I'm not mistaken.
It's crazy how different they look, huh? Like the two brands.
Yeah, they're very similar. I do got to give it to, I think Axial nailed the more crawler look. If you actually look at the Prolines remind me of just an unsiped KM3, which really is all the crawler is. I think the tread blocks just need to be a little bit bigger on the Pro lines, and they would have nailed it.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, because that's what looks different on the Axial version is the larger tread on them. Which the Axial one's a fantastic tire, but the size of the Pro line ones is good for like the Capras and stuff too. I think the Axial ones are a little bit small for certain rigs depending on what you're going with, but the Pro line ones kind of remind me of a flat iron that doesn't have like the one groove through the block. That's what they remind me of.
They do look like a flat iron, don't they? Yeah. I'm looking at I did come out. I think I have them currently on my son's Unimog.
Yeah, the Axial ones look way better.
Oh,
I would have done those on the Moon Buggy, but I think they're probably going to be too little for it. It probably would have looked funny.
Yeah. The thing with those rigs, like any kind of like a tube buggy kind of build like you do like that, they got to be big tires. You go small tires, one, it doesn't look right. Two, it'll hang you up. It actually hurts your performance. So you got to go like as big as possible. So there were some people that were putting 4.19s on Gatekeepers, and I never did quite understand why that was. I don't know. It's kind of like
weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like I still go back and forth. I have all the parts to do the conversion on my Bomber to make it a 1.9, but it's just like I've never just gotten around to doing it, and it's like one of those because it's like, will I drive it?
It's really the 1.9 Bomber is really fun, dude. I really enjoyed that build.
I just don't ever, it's one of those I just question myself while I drive it, so I just haven't really pulled the trigger on it yet.
Yeah. It's kind of a lot of work too.
Yeah, and then that is a goal too, one day to have like a moon buggy style, which either go with what is that? There's a company, what is his name? Like something. No, there's another company. The guy makes. I gotta look it up now.
RC Speedy.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, huh?
My buddy has one of those. Yeah.
You have a friend who has one of those cages?
He had bought that cage Jeep thing. It's the RC Speedy. Isn't the cage? They sell a truck, I thought, or he makes it. Is it the cage? Is it kind of like the? Aren't they doing?
He makes like a
ripper.
Yeah, he makes like a truggy cage for based off the Vanquish.
Yeah. I have a buddy of mine bought one of those, and it's pretty cool. The light kit that comes in those things is pretty fantastic. It's like all kinds of selectable lights and flashing stuff, and they're bright as hell.
Crazy.
It takes some. It's a heavy truck. And when when that thing rolls over or hits, you hear it. I also have a buddy who has a Ripper too, and it's one of those like, the first time he brought that Ripper out crawling with us, and it fell over and like hit one of those panels. Everybody and we have a pretty solid group with our Sunday. Shout out to my Sunday's church crew who's listening. When we were out and we heard the thing hit, everybody in the group just went, "Oh!" We all just cringed because of the sound that it made hitting the door, put like a light scratch or dent on it. But it's like, oh man. Yeah, the you don't see. I mean, RC Speedy's one. Because I wanted to. It was another show topic for another time. When I come back again. But like thoughts on, I know he's kind of gone now, but like the sort of the custom I know a lot of people do their own like fabrication in cages and things like that, but like going back to like the Matt Zilla cages or like the RC Speedy stuff and the people that produce those kinds of kits and or like rigs and everything. I don't know that I could ever. I mean, yours is pretty close. Yours is a pre-molded cage, though, right, Jay?
Yeah. Eventually, I'll build a cage for it, but for right now, it's just a plastic cage.
Oh, yours is. I didn't realize yours was plastic because I thought yours was like a metal. Because is it R1? Somebody made.
Yeah, it's a G-made R1, but it's basically like a twin vertical plate chassis where it's just molded instead of plate, and it's fastened together with aluminum standoffs through the center of it. So all the cross tubes are all threaded aluminum standoffs.
Because Integy used to make, I mean, back in, Integy used to make a bunch of those prefabbed cages, but I thought they made kind of
I think those were for wraiths and stuff. Yeah. No, it's the only like
moon buggy one.
As far as I know, the only thing even close to moon buggies has been the R1 and then later on the Capra, which is kind of more trail buggy thing. But yeah, I know there's a knockoff company that's reproducing the G-Made cage, the R1. Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Shock.
Yeah, Injora.
Insane surprise.
It's just kind of weird that like that's what they chose to copy is just the R1 cage. Like, what good is that going to do anybody unless they're going to build something like what I did or replace the cage on their R1? Like, I don't understand what the motive was behind that product, but it's out there. So R1 cages were actually really hard to find there for a little bit because of all the, supply chain stuff and everything. They were right about the time I finished mine and people said they started, were like wanting to build one. That's when they started to get kind of tricky to find, because I had a little bit of trouble even trying to get mine. I think I had to get it from RPP. Everybody go to sleep.
No, you said you're putting it to RPP.
No, I went back to I was on my computer and I was looking at, I still had my images from the HPI rally, and I found a picture it was linked to an RC Tech article, and it's a picture of my car.
Oh, really? Wow.
I posted it like forever ago, and it's a picture of my old Evo chassis in an RC Tech thread.
I found it, and then Ty found the same one too. We found a new in-box RS4 on eBay. And Ty was
someone just posted up. I'm on a vintage HPI page, and some people have posted. In fact, I sent it to my buddy Kyle. I was like, "Here's a new built like RS4 Rally. You should get it." But he already pulled the trigger. I think he bought the Escort that I was gonna buy. So.
Oh, really?
Screw you. Screw you, Kyle, for buying the Escort out from under me. But no, this is some old school stuff.
Scroll down.
I will say, like, when the way we organized to circle back to like the rally thing, the way we organized the class, I mean, there was a husband and wife couple that used to race with us. They both had rally cars. He used to race like two-wheel buggy as well, but she got into it. He got her a rally car, and they used to come out, and man, you talk about smiles for miles. Like, we were laughing, and we just had so much fun running that class, because it was so low key. It was sort of like it was slash class before slash class was around.
Right.
It was competitive. I mean, this is all like brushed motor days. So we were running, like 19 turn. We were all running like 19 turn spec motors. We were running, 6 cell. For those not old enough to know, they were 6 individual batteries that used to be soldered together into a pack. They weren't just 2 cell LiPo batteries now. You kids these days have it easy. But we just had so many laughs, and you would knock over people, and unlike real rally cars, like, you could go into a corner and completely roll them and keep going. Like, there was HPI had a couple different. They had a bunch of different bodies. They had the Subaru 22B, which is Colin McRae. That's probably the most famous like rally car. The Suzuki Escudo, which was terrible in that jumping and stuff, because it had this huge. If any of you guys played, let's go back. If any of you guys played Gran Turismo, the Suzuki Escudo, that huge winged thing in Suzuki, that's like everyone would use that for their top speed run cars on Gran Turismo. Travis probably knows probably can reference that part, but it was made for a horrible rally car, or rally car body, because it would catch on everything. But the Peugeots did really well that they made. They made a Ford, I'm looking at it. What is that? That's no, Focus. Ford Focus. Ford Focus rally. And they had a Toyota Corolla hatchback. Like, all of those were great, because you'd go into a corner, and being kind of a roundy body, they would just roll right over and you could keep going.
Little bowling ball.
Yeah. But I mean, it's, there wasn't, it was still the way we ran it, like, it was still competitive. It was still, there, like I said, it was still points. You might have lost an A-arm and a tire, at one race, and taken first the next. Like, they were all pretty even keel. It was way ahead of its time as far as I'm concerned with the cars. If you ran the interior, though, the faux, because the HPIs came with like the Yokomos too. The Yokomos didn't have a molded interior, but if you ran like the interiors, the electronics would get like smoking hot, because there's like no ventilation at all in those things. So they would cook. Like, literally, people would desolder like ESC leads.
Oh god!
Because of how hot they would get underneath. But did anyone even ask rally questions? I don't even know.
I don't even think we posted about questions for this one. I was just like, we're recording.
We only got 3. Well, we kind of posted, people just asked questions anyways. But I can read them off real fast.
Okay.
Nick LaRusso says, welcome back and happy holiday, guys. Thank you. Happy holidays to you as well. And then he says, Jay, please tell about why you chose a trail runner over the Gatekeeper for your Halo build.
Ooh.
I don't know.
We just had an idea.
I'm not sure. I think it was the Jeep I saw. I think it was the UNSC themed Jeep.
Yeah.
And so I saw that and I was like, oh.
Though a Gatekeeper is not a bad idea. That's an interesting thing you bring up. We didn't talk about that. We did a lot of stuff with Gatekeepers over the last year, though. It's kind of nice to bring back something that's been around for a little bit longer.
That's
Did
true.
you guys see
we
that
haven't given the
Halo-
Forerunner much love.
In the sort of the Halo connection, did you guys see that Halo, what is it, Warthog thing that Hoonigan built for SEMA?
Yeah. That thing's gnarly.
And then he says, will there be a live Christmas show this year?
Oh, man.
We
Did
should.
we do that last year?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that was
I
fun.
vote that.
Should be a little bit more dialed this year, too, because I figured out some of what the issues were that plagued last year's. So that'd be pretty fun. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then last question he had was, Jay, have you driven the TT02 yet? Will you leave it stock or make it a beast?
I don't think it could handle any kind of power. Like they're like, unless you spend a bunch of money on them, like we're talking like plastic planetary gears and the diffs and stuff. Like it's not. It's like a 17.5 or 21.5 type brushless system for something like that. Oh, really? That one that comes with it?
Yeah, I have a Euro truck, and it's surprisingly quick. I will say, if you're gonna not that I've done this, because I follow the Euro truck rules. But if you're gonna do the diffs, like marine grease is awesome. I would say if you're gonna upgrade it, and you want to like consider putting any kind of power behind it, I would look at like the aluminum center shaft, because they make an aluminum upgrade, like front and rear outdrive, and then the aluminum shaft. Because any kind of significant speed, and that plastic center shaft will wobble. But
Makes sense.
And maybe just if it is something you're gonna, well, I know you need to buy a second escort shell that you can and then keep the one that you've made all pretty for the scale garage. But they make an aluminum motor plate, and that would be a worthwhile, because it literally just kind of slots in, and I feel like the aluminum motor plate is a worthwhile upgrade for those.
Yeah, I mean that thing is like all plastic.
Yeah.
Like until you build one, you don't quite realize like how very like basic and inexpensive they are. But I mean,
they're fun, right?
It's
like,
still cool though. Like, oh yeah, it was like building a plastic model that worked is what it was. That's what it reminded me of. It was like building like a static model that actually like you could drive. That's what it was like.
And for us older guys, I will recommend a mechanicals or a screwdriver, electronic screwdriver, to help drive some of those Phillips head screws in.
I did replace it.
God bless Tamiya and all their all their Phillips.
I replaced as much as I could with Allen's.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, just because I was just like not gonna do the Phillips head thing. I don't even think there's a Phillips head in my toolkit for RC.
I built my Euro truck as per what came in the box, but yeah, that would definitely be my. Yeah, if you can replace those with some metric hex heads, it's even better. But yeah, I mean they go together so easily for the most part, and yeah, I mean they're just fun kits. If you've never built a Tamiya, for those listening, if you've never built a Tamiya kit, and even just for if people are, people who are like racers and kind of feeling burnt out or getting out of it, like pick up a frog. Go pick up a frog or a grasshopper or one of the Riri, for your kids, the Riri comical buggies, the oversized tires. They have like the frog and the grasshopper. I mean, if you just want something like to make you giggle, that would be my recommendation. Get a simple, 2S light, because most of them now come with. You have to be careful because the Tamiya electronics don't have they're life compatible, not LiPo.
Oh,
so
good to
their
know.
LiPo cutoff is different in it. There's some YouTube videos on how to like modify it, or you can just be lazy and put a LiPo alarm in it, or just set a timer. But yeah, I mean, if you've never built a Tamiya kit, like I highly recommend getting at least one. And they, the rally car or any of the Tamiya stuff, a lot of them they're cheap. Like if you can find them, they're kind of getting hard to come by now, I noticed. But you could pick up a Tamiya car for under $180, $150. I think the Escort's like 120 maybe.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 124 or something. I have another Facebook friend that just built a TTO too, also, that he's like getting into it as well. I don't know, maybe there's kind of like a little surge of interest with those going on right now.
Well, our local, we have a local, I think I've posted a couple pictures up, but we have a local indoor on-road track called Corsa that they just built a little tiny track. And by tiny, I mean we're renting Tamiya. They primarily focus on the Tamiya cars, which is awesome. And we've been running kind of some races on Saturdays, and I think we've gotten them down to like a sub like 5 or 6 second lap time. I mean, it's a really small track. They're just getting started. But I mean, it's been a hoot, and there's quite a few people that are turning out to race, and it's they're starting, the shop's been really good. They're focusing on the basic, Tamiya TTO2 based chassis and stuff, and they're just super simple and fairly inexpensive, and yeah, I just can't
I
see
think that's how you build like a renewed interest in on-road racing. I think is like that's kind of like what you do is start out with something affordable that's fun, and and then eventually it'll just grow again. I mean, everything kind of goes in cycles anyhow, so I mean, like at some point I'm sure short course will come back and be popular, and then so will touring car racing and stuff, so it's just matter of time probably.
Well, I mean,
I sure hope so.
They do make the T. Do they still have the TBO2? I don't remember. But
I think
yeah,
so.
I mean, if you're out there looking for, the holidays are scary enough. The holidays are right around the corner, folks. The end of the year is practically upon us too. It's nuts. But I mean, if you're looking for something just fun, and I mean, the Tamiya stuff is durable. You can run them in, it doesn't even have to be a prepped parking lot. You can just go find an empty parking lot and run it, and they hold up pretty good.
That'd be a good gift for a kid, as far as like, a first car to build or something. One of these Tamiya kits would be a really good present for a kid or an adult. But I mean, like a kid for like their very first build, that would be pretty cool. Just because it comes with, motor and ESC and everything. I mean, there's not much else he needs to get the thing going. So it'd be kind of a neat deal.
Yeah.
The Tamiya comical ones, if you're looking for the A-Main has them, and there's that's the 4-wheel drive one. You don't want that. The Frog, the Hornet, and the Grasshopper are all under $160. If you're wanting a fun kit for your kids to mess around with, and they pull they'll do wheelies. They're tall enough that you can kind of run them through the grass. If you're wanting something to kind of just like jump off curbs and play in the yard, like these little Tamiya ones are pretty awesome. Just Tamiyas in general. Get yourself a bearing kit from Fast Eddie or whoever, and
Yeah.
Did you put bearings in yours, Jay?
I did. Yeah, I actually ordered a Fast Eddie bearing kit with the car just because I knew that it's like I'm not even gonna mess around with the bushings. Yeah. That's more work later on down the road that I.
Well, like the Fast Eddie ones are nice because they're legit. Like I think all the same bearing except for the diffs.
Yeah,
and the diffs might even be the same bearing size too, but they just Tamiya cars. Tamiya for the win.
Yep. Well,
one more.
We should probably. Oh, we do have another one.
Yeah,
okay.
One more from Eric Warren. This is the last one. So he says, so after a few weeks of sales under the SCX6, do you think that it will change the direction of trail trucks? Watching the SCX6 groups and the quote influencers end quote, it seems that it may. Have you had a chance to drive one? What are your thoughts? Keep up the great work, guys. Looking forward to hearing the show later. And I agree with Nick. Y'all should put together a live show.
We'll have to do that then. Ah, boy.
It does seem like the overall reaction to the 6 has been positive. I mean, something that I did not mention when we announced that thing and we talked a little bit about it was that Horizon does have a pretty good finger on the large scale stuff.
That's true.
My whole thing on it is like, I really do like it. It's cool. I like the fact that it's literally like you just took the 10.3 and just blew it up. Yeah. And, it just looks identical to the 10.3. I have not driven one yet. I would actually, honestly, out of all the cars in 6 scale that I would like to see, I'd like to see a 6 scale Capra.
That'd be cool.
That'd be kind of crazy. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So, I mean, I don't know, just because like I think something that big in like a buggy would be cool. It definitely, the other thing too is they definitely work differently too. And you also got to remember, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about I think before the show about the 2.2 rigs. It's once you drive something that big, it kind of just goes over obstacles a lot different than like working a 1.9. So it's funny because you start getting spoiled by the way it works. And then you go back to a 1/10 and you're just like completely like, oh my God, I got to like work this line now.
Right.
So that happened with Michelle's dad and Elia when they went out to Folsom a couple weeks ago. I guess they were playing with the 6s all day, and then they pulled out the 10th scale, and they were just like, we feel like we don't even know how to drive anymore.
That's funny.
It'll be interesting to see if anything will rival it. I mean, Red Cat came. It's funny because I was mentioning to some other people, like, and I think I was even messaging Trujillo, which this was Rich Trujillo, for people who don't know, is one of the people project managers at Horizon, and this truck was kind of his sort of baby, in terms of like bringing it to fruition and kind of pushing for it. But I would, if you remember back, like Red Cat had that clawback.
Yeah, that 5th
monster
scale thing.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, people, I will say, like, obviously, if you're picking one versus the other, like, hands down, the SCX6 has all the boxes checked for sure. But it'll be interesting to see if Red Cat does something with that one. That one was more like, you could go on Amazon and get those, you used to be able to get like those super huge, like MOA style, crawlers, which I think the clawback was. It was more or less like
yeah,
an MOA type
it
crawler
was
with a big Lexan body kind of thrown over the top of it.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to see if I mean, Traxxas pretty much stays in their lane. Traxxas has been kind of cool. I mean, everyone kind of says like Traxxas is due for a revamp. Like the TRX4 really hasn't changed. I mean, at least you see, Axial with the 10.2, the 10, and then the 10.2 go into the smaller, axles, and now you have the 10.3 that came with like the portals, and then the selectable transmission to sort of, mirror what, Traxxas did. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anyone steps up and does anything. I'm sure there'll be plenty of knockoff clones before too long of, large scale, but, yeah, that 6 was something else for sure. I mean, I think we were all pretty impressed when they came out with the 24th scale stuff. And now have you seen their sticker that they made that's got their, like, the 3 versions?
Like the family stickers. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. With the 6th scale, the 10th scale, and the 24th scale.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier. It'll be interesting to see what 2022 brings for everything. I mean, we kind of all think like, we've all probably been there. We're like, wow, nothing's gonna top this, and then, sure enough, they bring out something bigger. But I guess in talking with Rich, like the SCX6 has been in development for like, I want to say it was like 2 years or so, I think is what he was saying.
Wow.
I mean, it was in the works for a little while. It was just a matter of, getting everything done, and then, obviously the supply chain stuff kind of put, everybody behind the 8 ball really when it came to a lot of that stuff. But I was impressed. I mean, they were saying that they had those. When the SCX6 dropped, those things were sitting in the warehouse, and they had plenty of stock on hand when that was released.
Wow. I just don't know if I have anywhere I could even really drive the thing to where it'd be fun.
I was going to say, can you even drive it? I haven't been there, but you speak a lot of like Capsani. Can you even drive it in Capsani?
I mean, you could, but I don't know. I think most of the stuff at Cap Sandy would probably be too hard for a bigger rig like that. I mean, like a 2.2 is like about the biggest I think that you could really. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way my mind works. I mean, like I'm not into micros really. I'm not into large scale stuff. I'm not into 18th scale. Like I don't know, for whatever reason.
Scaled stuff is like right. Yeah.
It's my happy place. Like I'm used to it, and there's a lot of parts that you can get for them and accessories and hop ups, and it's just I don't know. I don't really ever see much other than 10th scale in my future personally.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention my boater friends and my buddy Ethan from Scaled Plate Shop. But they've a lot of those guys have all transitioned to boats, and they've all gotten boat crazy and kind of like crawlers are boring. We're gonna get into boats.
Sean Rusin too. He did that.
That boat that he posted up recently is wicked. That nitro looking thing.
Yeah, he's into it. He's in deep to boats all of a sudden.
Yeah. My friends have all gone where like a few of my friends have like several VS410s. Lance, I'm looking at your direction. Like even still like in the box, like a lot of them have gone all hardcore boat. But now it's like, okay, now you need to build trailers because you now have because some of them have like the larger like 36 inch, the 40, the larger like 50 inch. Because some of them have even gotten like weed eater boats now. So
jeez.
Yeah, so like some of the boats that they've got size wise, like they're perfect behind that SCX6, and many of those same guys have bought SCX6s. So the running joke is like, who's going to be the first one to show up, at the boat pond with their SCX6 and the boat on the trailer.
They have a launch ramp and stuff too. That'll be next, is Scale launch ramp.
Well, at one of you can't run nitro there, but one of the ponds that we have here in Portland, Westmoreland, they do have kind of a sloped like boat ramp that you can
funny
back down to. The place where we go to run gas boats, it's kind of adjacent. It's adjacent to the river, but it's kind of behind in this little protected like pond area. And you could. It's a little bit of ways down a path, paved path, and then you kind of walk down this little like sort of grassy hill down to a little peninsula, and everyone just kind of launches. So you could, in theory, drive your boat down, kind of back it into the water and launch it. To go back to like the Sen trucks and the tow rigs and everything, like, kind of a perfect storm for anyone who's got. I'm curious to see if Sean Rusin's going to get a SCX6 to tow some of his boats with.
It'd make for some good pictures.
Oh yeah, I mean, and again, even some of those boats too. I mean, they're pretty. Some of those boats are pretty, scale too when you look at what they are and the size and everything. The Traxxas, the Traxxas Cat and the Spartan and all of those. There's some pretty. They're pretty impressive as well.
You could get scale driver figures of a husband and wife to scream and yell at each other while they're trying to load the boat on the trailer.
Right. Yes.
Beer cans falling out of the truck when you open the door. And
right.
Some of the gnarliest things I've ever seen have happened on boat ramps, like arguments and near fights and stuff. Like boat ramps are always an awesome place for good drama and excitement.
I got hooked on watching some of the Blake Wilkie videos and his little jet boat videos, and so like I occasionally will peruse and see if I can find like cheap Sea-Doos for sale, and trying to find one of those little aluminum. Those things can get pricey too. They're just as bad as like the cost of some of those side by sides, but those little aluminum like tiny mini jet boat things would be pretty.
Somebody's gonna die in one of those things. They are so crazy.
Yeah.
How they run them up on dirt and stuff and jump them, and it's like, oh my god, you guys are just begging for trouble.
and then you throw like turbos and superchargers on them like they have. It's like,
Yeah,
holy
no thanks.
hell.
No thanks.
I don't have that kind of pocketbook. I'll stick to my like many RC cars.
Yeah, it's a lot safer.
And a lot
Well,
more fun.
guys, yeah. Should probably wrap things up here.
Yeah, that was fun. Any closing thoughts from anybody?
No.
I think so.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Chris, for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
We're not talking about the fires like the last time I was on.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Things are trending positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, but yeah. Thanks
no,
for joining. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed
Nice having you.
being here. Thanks for having me back.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, cool. Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for coming back and listening to us, and we're excited to get this going again. So appreciate your support, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
See it.